Hey, Phantomaniacs, welcome to the newest unboxing here on the Needless Things YouTube channel. Looking at something that came out a little while ago, but I just got it for my birthday, so I'm very excited. Well, I'm excited anyway, because Ratar-O, I don't know why, but he is just one of the villains that really clicked with me on ThunderCats. And as I go on into the Super 7 ThunderCats Ultimates line, we're getting into the deep cut characters that I really appreciate, because obviously we all love the Thundercats and we're glad they're getting to Wily Kit and Wily Cat. That's great. But as we get into some of these villains that were only in, 3, 4, 5 episodes, however many, he wasn't like one of the mutants. He wasn't Mumra, but I always loved Ratar-O as a character, and especially his character design. There's a lot of secret enigma about him. I love this character, and I'm glad he's in the line. On the back of the box, we've got a little bit of art and a bio. Ratar-O is a mutant commander and captain of the spaceship known as the Ratstar. A cunning military strategist, Ratar-O poses a deadly threat to the Thundercats, particularly when he wields the powerful rat's eyes as his weapons. Slythe once served under him as a field cook, a fact which Ratar-O will never let him forget. Although Ratar-O is loathed by most of the other mutants, he is respected by Vulture Man, the one mutant Ratar-O seems to favor. Interesting that they got so deep into the mutants' dynamics on that one. But, I was doing my Thundercats rewatch last year, year before and last year, and never quite finished. I didn't get caught up. I didn't wrap up the series. Just other things like would pop up. I got deep into a Mythbusters rewatch. Just one thing after another, until I kind of lost the thread, and I was like, well, if I go back to it now, do I pick up where I was, or do I just start another rewatch? I don't know. So, because I genuinely do enjoy... Ooh, interesting. I think we've seen this a little bit more lately, where Super 7 is using a piece of plastic to hold something in place rather than tape. But I like it, because as I've said many, many times over the course of these reviews, over the many years I've been reviewing now, I don't like tape being directly on my accessories. He's a big, bulky guy. I dig that. If you haven't, I would imagine you've seen one of my Thundercats reviews before. I've reviewed most of this line here, if not all, maybe all, because what happened with it, I got into the line a little bit late, but not so late that I had to pay secondary market prices for the first, maybe wave. I can't remember if I got in on the second or third wave, but whenever it was, it was concurrent with me starting that rewatch of Thundercats, where I was like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Now I want these figures really bad. And I don't know how many years this line has been going now, but it's just brought me a lot of joy. And I'm not going to say that Thundercats is one of my great fandoms. I dig it. I do think the cartoon is one of the higher quality cartoons of the era. I think it is held up really well. I think it is eminently rewatchable. He feels good. He feels really good. He feels solid. Plastic feels good. Plastic looks good. I'm going to mess around with this waist a little bit, because it looks like his skirt is, if you see, this is a little off center. So it looks like his skirt needs to be aligned a bit. There we go. So we should be able to wiggle that around and get it lined up a little better. All right. Oh my gosh, he looks great. But yeah, Thundercats, like when you go back and watch it, it really is more I mean, look, it's still an 80s cartoon, but the storytelling and character development, the way they build the world of Third Earth, it's one of the more sophisticated and engaging cartoons of the era. I think it really does hold up nicely. So there is the Ratar-O portrait. Looks good. It's got his helmet with the little business on the front, and this is hard plastic, so be careful with this. It's more rigid, so if you smack him on the counter or something, these tips could potentially break off. Ears look great. His mustache is tremendous. It is, as you can see, a softer plastic that's attached to his snout, but looks really, really good. Those teeth look great. He's got his beady little eyes. The colors are nice and vibrant. His golds have a nice metallic color to them. And as I said, he feels good. Like, the plastic feels good. His mobility of his joints and everything, really nice. I like the sculpt that they did on the sleeves. I'm a little surprised that I like the way... Okay, so one big problem you run into with a figure that's rotund like this, if you will, is oftentimes they don't sculpt the arms to deal with the girth. So the figure, fatter figures, if they hadn't extended this joint out a little bit like this, he wouldn't be able to put his arms down by his sides. So I like that they designed this to give him the standard sort of humanoid stance, as opposed to, I'm not going to put him in a neutral position on the shelf anyway, but you know what I'm talking about with your rounder figures. Sometimes they end up with the arms kind of out. They can't have a more neutral pose like that. I was getting ready to say, I'm a little surprised Super 7 didn't put some blue paint on the discs here, because normally, but then that would be a problem. So, yeah, I don't know. It's not... I hate seeing stuff like this, but it's one of those toy things that's like, well, what do you do? What is your answer to that? And potentially, maybe you, instead of having this attached to the hand, you have a rubber overlay that comes down off of the gauntlet here. But I don't know that that's practical either. Joints, as long as you have figures that have points of articulation, that have joints, stuff like that is just going to be a thing. And at the end of the day, you got to remember, well, it's a toy. It's not an actual organic thing. Yeah, his movement's really nice. Feels very, very sturdy. It's got standard articulation. You can see the sculpt on the legs there with a little bit of paint to bring out some of that detail. The knees, we might do a little something here soon where I talk to some of my toy collecting friends just about some stuff with the industry, because Super 7 is moving into some territory that I don't think of as being theirs. They're doing the double jointed 2003 Turtles, and I am... In general, man, the knee pads are super, super spiky. So be careful with those. I don't know how I feel about Super 7 venturing into double jointed territory, because that's always been one of the things I love about them, is that they don't let articulation ruin the aesthetics of the product, of the cartoon looks. So, I'm not going to write it off. I'm curious to see how they handle it. Because I do know that capturing those cartoon aesthetics, although I guess the 2003 Turtles will be based more off of the toys. Interesting that we've got an angle on the tail here, and also that the tail, now this is pretty simplified. It obviously doesn't have like the ridges and stuff that a rat's tail has, but that's accurate to the character. I do like that it has that swivel and that you can achieve, a little bit of posability with that. I'm just curious to see how Super 7 handles double jointed limbs, because very few companies do it as well as I would like to see it done. Oh, shoulder pads are also soft plastic, so they're not going to interfere with his articulation at all. All right, so there you go. It just looks great. Look at those feet. Paint job on the feet looks fantastic. Very happy with this guy. Very happy with his bulk. But also he's not overly heavy. Sometimes I feel like, oh, they knew this is a big character, so they just want to make it super heavy and thick, and it's just not necessary. He feels good. He feels like an action figure. I like it. Let's take a look at the accessories. So these are great because they're sort of a counterpoint to the Eye of Thundera. Oh, and they've got them. Okay, so look, the one side. Oh, okay. Oh, man, how cool is that? So they are the sort of curvy is the word that was escaping me there. Curvy size daggers. And they are pretty rigid plastic. They're not rubbery at all. So you've got the one side with the eyes, and then the other side with the ports in the back to accommodate the blasts, which is awesome. And I don't know how I'm gonna not pose him with these. Oh, and we're gonna have to test out the pose as well, because he's got to be able to cross these things. So there are the blasts. They go in the ports right there. And the ports are, I mean, they're pretty deep. Obviously, they accommodate those blasts pretty nicely. But they're also, they don't stick out at you. It doesn't look like, oh, he's got holes in his knives. Like, they've handled those pretty well as far as the deco and just the look of them. Looks good. And then you've got the energy effects that'll go on the blades, that I would imagine go on a very specific way here that I've got to figure out. Oh man, how much of a pain is this going to be? I can't figure out which way these go. Oh man, okay, wait. So you can see they're going to like snap on. So they just go like that. They don't slide on. They're gonna sort of snap on. There we go. Oh, that looks great. Took me a minute to get there, but I figured it out. I usually will. Sometimes I don't, though. Sometimes it takes a comment to say, hey, that thing goes on the other side, or that way, or that part is actually this thing. And that is, you know, part of what I'm here for, to get a little input. Well, one on background. You know, I like to hear, what's your favorite episode with Ratar-O? What do you think of Ratar-O? Like, where does he land on the supporting villainous characters scale for you? Tell me that kind of stuff in the comments. But also tell me if there's an easier way to get these energy effects attached, because I'd sure love to know it if there is. I guess we got that on there. Okay, so there are those. Looks pretty great. I don't think I've got this one on quite snug enough, but anyway, you get the idea. He's got an alternate head with a mouth open, which I believe is the one I will be displaying. Look at the teeth in there. You know what? Having mentioned Secret of Nim, I do think that's probably where my fondness. Oh, this is going to be difficult with his little pointy parts up here. Oof. Okay. I do think that's probably where my fondness for the character comes from, because I always very badly wanted Secret of Nim toys. I'm going to have to heat that up to get it on. There is no way I'm going to be able to get that on there. Yeah, that's not going to happen. All right. All right. Hopefully that got the job done. That head is a thick... Oh, and look, this is... Nice. So that is a little flexible. But it's still just difficult to manage with that thing on top. Alright, is it on? Sometimes you get the head on without that satisfying pop, and you're like, huh, did that even work? I don't know. Okay, so there is, yeah, that's definitely the head that's got to go on the shelf. So let's see if we can get him posed with the daggers. Oh, and here he's got alternate hands. He's got a pointing C grip, and then just kind of an open, graspy hand, which is really, really nice. But you know, I got to have him holding these knives. Like, there's just no question that that's what's up. So if memory serves, he crosses them in front of his face, or in front. It might not. Yeah, excuse me. Might not even be in front of his face. Really, it might just be sort of in front of him. That left hand is, well, one, the claws are super pointy, but it's closed a little bit more than the right hand. There we go. Oh, but it knocked his stupid energy effect off. Great. I didn't have that all the way on, and I know I didn't. It might be worth heating this up to get it back into place. And look, it's just a matter of figuring out the points where it attaches. Oh wait, is that what I was trying to put that on wrong anyway? Not the most intuitive thing in the world. What a struggle. Did I get it? All right, I think I got it. I don't know if that's on any better than it was before, but it's on well enough, because now we got to cross these things. And he does have. Oh yeah, we'll be able to get this done. Yeah, look at that. Oh my gosh. All right, forget it. I'll heat that up and get it on better later. So there you go. Man, I really want the whole effect. All right, hang on. Okay, that just took some doing. But I got it snapped on. You can see it's on a lot better than it was before. So those energy effects look awesome. Just like the old Rankin Bass animation, I think. And then we'll get the blast effects in there. And like, I'm kind of stuck here because I don't normally put figures on the shelf in like a mid-blast situation like this. But it's so cool. I don't know. That's going to be a tough call. I dig it. So yeah, there's Ratar-O. Looks great. Very, very happy with this guy. Happy to have him. He's going right in there on the ThunderCats shelf. And there are a couple more from this wave that I still need. And then the next wave after this one is shipping now. So I got to get on those as well. So lots of ThunderCats to get caught up on. Not just the show, but the figures too. But Ratar-O is great. Very happy with him. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about Needless Things. And until next time, buy what you like.
Smash that like button if you like Needless Things.